Alright, so to import your media, it's quite simple. You just drag and drop the file from Finder right here into your browser under your project. I've got some stuff in here on the desktop, and under resources, I've got the Machuca master video here actually. So I'm gonna put that right in, and we can look at the sequence settings. And right out the gate, I see that it's H.264, and that is the compressor. That's the codec that it's encoded with, and we're operating in Apple Prores. And you want these settings to match in order for it to not have to render. So to prep the file properly, you open it in Streamclip, and here, if I was to get info, you can actually see here it would know it was H.264. Knows the dimensions, it knows the frame rate, give you all sorts of information. And this is actually really crucial. To change it to ProRes, we want to do as minimal changing to all the other settings as possible. So we go Export to QuickTime, change it to ProRes, or as I talked about earlier, you can do HQ or LT or whatever you like best, and change it to 100%. Basically keeping it at the best quality, changing the compression, the encoder codec here, and keeping the frame size unscaled. This is crucial. If it was scaling it, if I change any of these, it's gonna do scaling, and that's when these settings will start coming into play. But if I leave it unscaled, even if that's checked, it's not actually deinterlacing it, whatever. It's unscaled, so this is cool. When I make it, I'm gonna just put it here on the desktop and call it source, or call it 422 or whatever you want. You can close the preview, and it's right now it's converting it from H.264 to 422. I'm going to fast forward here. Alright, don't you wish you could just do that in real life? So now that we have it, I'm going to not save this just quite yet. I'm going to go back and grab my new source right here, drop it in, and you can see that our compressor now matches, as well as, it's really good the square pixels match as well. That's also something to do with aspect ratio. And then the frame rate is 2997. We'll talk about this more later. This might have not been the best example I could have used because it does differ, but I'll show you what that means. So now that I have the source, this is the MP4 file, and this is the move file. This is the H.264. This is the ProRes. I don't want that other one. I'm just delete it. So when I drop it into the sequence, it's going to ask me, do I want the sequence settings to match my clip settings? If I say yes, my sequence settings will be changed to be native to the clip. If I say no, it'll keep my sequence settings the same, and it will force that clip into the sequence no matter the size or the frame rate or whatever, and you will have to render it. So it's basically cramming this into that box versus changing the box to be the same as the clip. So I'm going to say yes, and it's going to watch. It's going to change. Look, it changed my frame rate to match. Also, if my dimensions were different, that would have changed as well. But you'll notice I don't have to render anything. Everything's all pre-rendered. It's great. This really will allow us to make some quick changes to it, as well as get everything set up properly. Now, normally, I was just proving a point when I dropped the actual, even though it looks like it's a move, not an MP4. That's a little misleading as well. I didn't really choose the best sample file. But the point is, when it's H.264 or whatever, if I knew it was wrong, you don't want to put it in. You do want to prep your file, by exporting it properly ahead of time. Every file that goes into Final Cut, you want to match your sequence setting in advance. This is going to cut down so much time for your renders. It's unbelievable. I can show you some stuff in the next few lessons how that will make a difference. But here's a simple example. If I cut it and move it so they're on top of each other, it doesn't require re-rendering. I can move it back out. It doesn't. It's great. It's native. This is definitely how it should be. So looks like I'm going to move to my next lesson and actually show you how to export stuff out. I'm going to skip a lot of the simple editing because I know we can go over that and it's fairly straightforward. So the next one we're going to talk about exporting.